Conclusion or point of order, the Honourable
Mr. Speaker, I seek leave to move a notice of congratulations for persistence to Steven Joyce for having his degree conferred 21 years after he started it.
Leave is sought for that course of action. Is there any objection? There is no objection.
Mr. Speaker, I so move. Mr. Speaker, I think this is a very good example of the House taking the chance to debate something which is very, very important government policy that member has moved back. And the fact that we now have an open debate on this matter, one which will go down to the closure in government time, is something which I think is absolutely brilliant, and I want to thank the Leader of the House for his acceptance of this invitation to have a debate on this matter. And I might say, sir, I was very serious. I think that having senior students, people who complete their degrees 21 years after having it conferred 21 years after they start is a sign of persistence. The fact that he was most slow about getting it conferred. I think he'd hoped over a period of time to do a little bit better. I think yes, he did it. He completed it in 3 years.
Point of order, the Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
With respect, sir, some of us are very interested in Mr Mallard's comments and are struggling to hear with the hubbub down the back.
Order, I think it's quite a robust debate and members can expect a degree of noise. The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr. Speaker, I'm someone who worked in rural education, worked with adults, and I know the importance of having an ability to have a long debate, but a long period in which people can complete their education. And I think that Steven Joyce, as the Minister in charge of tertiary education, is absolutely wonderful in welcoming a debate on this particular topic at this particular point in time. And Mr. Speaker, and he is sitting in Anne Tolley's seat already, and he is showing maybe there's a problem with a seat. Is it? Well, no, we're not going to go. There's a certain sensitivity with that Minister at the moment, and I'm not going to be involved in that one. Mr. Speaker, he is sitting in the seat, and I'm wondering whether there's some sort of infection in the seat which causes general incompetence, or what that sort of problem could be. Mr. Speaker, I think what we're seeing is a government in disarray, a government with a very grumpy Leader of the House who's drumming his fingers there. Totally, shoddy, I think is the word. Shoddy, sloppy is the word that the Prime Minister uses.
Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr. Speaker, this has to be a very narrow debate. It's to congratulate Mr. Joyce on his academic achievements. And I would have thought, Mr. Speaker, that the person speaking to the motion is straying well off the motion's topic.
I think the member makes a perfectly fair point of order. Certainly there's no grounds to comment on the Leader of the House in this debate.
Certainly not on academic achievement, Mr. Speaker.
Order.
And I wasn't commenting on Mr. Brownlee's academic achievements, Mr. Speaker. I was saying to the Minister of Tertiary Education that I think it is good that he decided to have his degree conferred in the way that he did. I think he was probably, while he's considerably younger than I am, part of the generation where we didn't think that was quite as important at the time, and didn't bother doing it, in some cases quite deliberately rather than by accident, but later on he chose to do it. But I think what he has highlighted is that people learn in different ways. I mean, that is clear from his academic record. He seemed to learn fairly fast at the beginning, and then he didn't learn that much in his tertiary education at the end, or did not complete. DNC, I think, is the expression that it's used fairly frequently on his academic record, and that did not. A little bit like now, He's focused on the front end, he's focused on the early optics, but in the end, he's not focused on the substance. And this is and we are looking forward, all around the university system. There are vice-chancellors who are waiting for this minister to put back, as far as policy, some of the learnings that he received when he was a student, and weak speeches. And there's only really been one, and frankly, when you look at it, you can tell the minister had there was the one he made at Te Papa. It had a lot of his own work in it. It was very clearly, I'm not sure where the delivery was. There's one tertiary education speech that I have read. Clearly he had thought about carefully. There were a lot of his own words. There were a lot of his own words in there, words that he may have learnt during his limited tertiary career, or he may have learnt afterwards. And sir, thank you. I now have a copy of that transcript of the in front of me, and I must say, a Bachelor of Science in Zoology is a very good qualification for working in a National Party cabinet. A very good qualification for working in a National Party cabinet, because I think it's fair to say that there are a range of animals there. And sir, while clearly his experience was not as good as another someone else who used to have responsibility in the tertiary education area and had a good understanding of the way that cows' guts worked, and sir, I'm sure he applied that within the National Party. Well, he would have if he was in that cabinet. He would have been able to work it there. But in this particular case, I think we look at labour economics. Labour economics is what that, and he couldn't even pass. He was through. Labour economics. What I want to know is, when was he ever labour enough to study labour economics? And we see that monetary economics. Well, we see the pretender to the throne of the Minister of Finance actually...
Point of order, the Honourable Chair Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, as I said before, I think this is a very, very tight motion. It is to congratulate Mr Joyce on his academic career. It seems to me completely inappropriate then that the Speaker the Speaker on his feet should dissect the academic record in such disparaging terms. Mr Speaker, this is a tight debate, and speakers should be held to the tight bounds of the motion.
I don't think we need to hear more on this. I think the member was certainly speaking to the academic record, and I think he's entitled to do so. The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
And thank you for the chance to look to... And I might say that it's really interesting that the only A that I can find on page 3 or 4, it's notable that he only has only tabled 2 of the 4 pages. But Sarah, and I'm not sure whether that complies with your requirements as to full tabling. But sir, the 1A I can see on that page is in energy and environment. And I want to know, what does Jerry Brownlee think about that? There's actually someone, although I must say that having an energy environment qualification within a diploma in social sciences is something which is somewhat unusual. I was from Massey. Now I'm beginning to understand. This member could not even succeed in Massey postgraduate work. Well, I don't want to say anything about the biggest polytechnic in the country, I'm sure. I visited there. Oh, Mr Speaker, don't tell me your PhD's from Massey, Mr Speaker. No, I'm pleased to hear it. I knew you had a quality PhD, and I'm sure that Steve Mahari, who I was speaking to yesterday, the phone's going already, Mr Speaker. Mr Mahari is tweeting me or trying to do something like that at the moment. Mr Speaker, he also has a B+ in the economics of trade legislation. It says trade legis. I presume it means legislation. I think he should be doing Tim Gross's job. But as I was saying before, Mr. Speaker, one of the areas which did not complete was in the area of monetary economics.